Sam McKenney here with the Wildcat Golf Cabinet. Today I want to talk to you about turning your upper body, turning your hips, and your backswing. More specifically, when you do it during your backswing and how much you do it. And I think the big thing with golf is we all understand that we're going to turn our upper body, we're going to turn our hips in our backswing, we're going to do the same thing in our downswing. The most important part about all that is when you do it. And the when part is the sequencing. Heard this 1,000 times over the last 10 years or so about the proper sequence in a golf swing and being able to do that to maximize power, maximize club control. And it is really, really important. And this is a good drill to understand when things occur. I'm going to just talk about the backswing. So I've taken two broken shafts, just using these things. I think it's easier to see on camera, but easy thing to do would be to take your alignment sticks, two alignment sticks, put one through your two front belt loops, okay, so they're connected and they're secure, and you can hold the other one. You can hold the other one right on top of your shoulder, so we can get the understanding of what our upper body is doing, or our shoulders, or our chest area, how much it's turning, and what our hips are doing in the backswing. And what I want you to do is get the understanding of how much the hips are going to turn. Right now I've created a 90-degree angle between this front shaft pointing at you and my hip alignment shaft. So this is 90 degrees, okay, in this direction. If I turn 45 degrees or so towards you, and this 45-degree angle coming out from here, we know that this is as much as the hips are going to turn with any swing. So 45 degrees with a driver is as much as your hips need to turn and want to turn. So we know that our hips aren't going to go past this with a full turn with a driver. Means that for pitching wedge or an iron, they're going to turn even that much less, maybe in the 35-degree range or so. Okay? So now that we have this understanding of what 90 degrees is a turn and where the 45-degree mark is, now we can kind of do our exercise. And the exercise is we're going to turn our upper body, and we're going to try to get to our upper body to turn about 40 degrees, and our lower body to turn about 20 degrees. And that's about a quarter of the way back in the golf swing. And that's the relationship that we tend to see with really good players that sequence the right way. Is once the upper body's turned 40 degrees, the lower body's turned about 20. Now, for you to get this exact, it's impossible. You don't have the 3D technology or the markers on your body to measure this. But I want to give you a good idea of what it looks like and what it would feel like. Okay? So now I've got, in my setup, my shoulders and hips are aligned properly. So when I get into my good golf posture, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the upper body to turn first. Lower body will follow a little bit, okay, or just be restricted. It might feel like they're going at separate times, so they're going to go kind of at the same time, but just being restricted with the lower body. And I'm going to stop right about here. And what I can see when I look to my left is I can see where my shoulder rotation is relative to my hip rotation. And I also have that understanding of where the 45-degree angle is relative to 90 facing the camera or facing a mirror. Maybe we do this in front of a mirror. So I've turned. Now I know that, okay, I'm going to make a fairly calculated guess that my shoulders have turned about 40 degrees. My hips have turned about 20 degrees relative to where that 45-degree mark is. So I'm getting a really good understanding of when things are going to occur. So if I make the guess, okay, my shoulders have turned about 40 degrees, my hips have turned about 20. Once I get that, then I can continue to work, and the difference between this shaft and my hip shaft will increase as I get to the top of my swing. Depending on what we're doing, what kind of a shot, pitching wedge versus a driver, it's going to be how much you're going to turn. But I'm making what in this position what feels like almost a full rotation for me. And I can really tell that I've increased from that 40-20 mark, I've increased these two shafts, practically doubled it probably. So I've rotated to complete my backswing. My shoulder's about 80 degrees. My hips maybe 40 degrees or so. I'm in a good position. I've created a good stretch between the two. I've got good stability with my lower body to support my upper body. So it's a real simple drill, taking two shafts, understanding when things are going to happen. Because what we don't want to have is my hips really turning quite a bit while my shoulders turn. So if I stop and I look to my left, both shafts are kind of matching one another. So I haven't created any separation. What a lot of times happens is we create no separation early in the swing, and then we try to create more separation as we complete the backswing, and that's when we get a little off balance and out of position. So I know that in order to do this, I've got to stabilize my lower body, turn my hips just a little bit in the beginning, allow my upper body to turn a little bit more, and get in a good position at this point. Then I can start to figure out how I'm going to go complete the rest of the backswing.